So here's another write a Python program question. So again, you could read the question here, pause the video and have a go. So it's about a go-kart and braking distances. So we're going to ask the user to enter a speed for the go-kart until they enter a speed that is between 10 and 15. So we're going to validate there. So validating using a loop. It says keep asking. They're giving you a clue in the question. Calculate the braking distance in meters by dividing the speed by 5. Ask the user if the ground is wet. So we're going to have to get a user input there. Find out if it's wet or not. If the ground is wet, we're going to multiply the distance by 1.5, and we're going to output it. And again, as ever, meaningful variable names, correct syntax, indentation, etc. All these design things will get us some marks, we hope. So if you want to have a go at that one, pause it up and then have a go. So the first thing we want to do is get the speed. So let's get speed equals integer, I think. Input, enter speed. Doesn't really matter what you type in that box there. That can be anything, ready or nothing, but it just helps us to think about the way we normally program. So that's our speed that we've got. So now we need to do this handling the testing whether it's between 10 and 50. So we'll use a while loop. So while speed is less than 50, no, less than 10, sorry, or speed is more than 50, then we'll get the speed again by just getting that input again, exactly the same piece of code. And there we've handled the while loop. So that bit's the while loop. There goes back up there. We've noticed we've done a correct indent there, and we should be doing that. So then we'll carry on. So the next bit to do is start off thinking about the braking distance. So let's call that brake dist, and that's going to equal speed divided by 5. So just by doing that, by dividing this and giving this a division, the braking distance, we're saying this is going to be a real number as an output. It's going to be a floating point number. So then we're going to ask the user if the ground is wet. So it's a user input. So let's call it is wet, shall we? Is wet equals input wet question mark. And we could be a bit more helpful with that really if we wanted, but we're assuming they're going to put yes or no. So in that case, we're going to now say if is wet is equivalent to yes, then our brake dist is equal to itself. Times 1.5. So there's our braking distance worked out for if it is wet. If it's not wet, then we're not going to add anything on. So notice we've done our indent there again. So to be back outside of the loop, our print statement last. So this is going to be outputting the final braking distance. So we just want to print distances brake dist, and we've output the final answer for that. So it does look a bit like vet that, and it should be wet, of course. Is it wet? So answers we're getting back from that are yes, hopefully, or anything else. So if we get yes, we're going to do this. If it's anything else, doesn't matter. We'll just continue. So we only need that one bit of if statement on this. We don't need any elifs or else's or anything else, just that one bit. So we've lined the code up correctly here. We've got our indent for the while loop, our indent for the if, and we've printed out. And that's the end. So there were 2 marks for this design. We get our 2 points. And the 2 points for this are available for having an iteration structure. So our while loop, there's a design mark for that, and suitable variable names and data types. So we've got suitable variable names here. Data types, we've decided speed's an integer. Is wet, we're just inputting a string, so that's a string and that's correct. And braking distance will become a real because of that, and that's fine. Python assumes data type, so as long as we've done the syntax correct, we should get that okay. So then for the logic of the programming, if we get input for speed and is wet appropriately, so in the right place, we get a point. So we've so far got 2 for design, then we get 1 for getting the inputs correct, 1 for using a while loop or something like it to get the input. So we're going to get a point for that. We're going to get a point for the correct expression there, correct Boolean expression, so less than 10 or greater than 50 in there. So we're going to get that correct. If we'd calculated the braking distance by dividing by 5, we're going to get a point there, I think. For using selection structure there, we get a point. And for outputting the final idea. So there were 8 marks in total for that one, including those 2 design marks. Bit more of a tricky one, but again, quite manageable in the exam if you keep thinking about what it is you're trying to achieve and the basic constructs that you've used in your programming up to now.